Hey guys, the Chief Asch here today to talk to you about another movie for the OctoberQuest series. We are slowly coming up on the end of this sucker, and we're going to finish out the Nightmare on Elm Street series because I've been so consistent with them. So today I will be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Freddy's Revenge is the immediate sequel to the, big hit, the very popular Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And it does suffer sequel sickness. That is definitely a thing it is. But I don't feel like the movie is as bad as some people give it. Granted, there are bad things in the movie. And once again, I'm probably biased. I'm huge into this series. You probably have noticed by now. So, yeah, of course I would think it's a little better. But I can say with all unbiased certainty that number 2 is better than 4, 5, and 6. And if you look online, a lot of people disagree. You'll find, and I watched it, and it's been a while since I've seen this one. This is the one a lot of people forget, which is funny because it has a change to the formula, right? It's not Freddy going around haunting people's dreams as per usual. It's him focusing on one guy, and he possesses him, which is a completely different offset of the rest of the rest of the movies, and especially from the first one, the only other one that existed at the time. And quite frankly, if you think about it in a series perspective, it's really a brave move for a director to try to take something that's so popular and go a completely different way with it. That's because a lot of these slasher movies, they're going to try to just recreate the first movie every time, and the second movie is the same thing, third movie is the same thing, fourth movie, and they do that a lot, and that's the common thread. Nightmare on Elm Street really didn't try to do that at first. This was a completely different look, and it didn't work. There's a couple things. Freddy's Revenge is a weird title for it because Freddy's entire dream world existence is due to revenge. So the first one could have been called Freddy's Revenge in a way. And in this one, even though Nancy, they leave it on a cliffhanger, but we know because of the future movies, and I've already reviewed them, that Nancy Thompson survives. So you would think if it's Freddy's Revenge, she's going to be in it, but it's not. It's a different Elm Street kid. And like I said, it's not I'm going to haunt all these teenagers. It's this one, and he tries to possess this one to go kill other people for him. And your first straight up adult death. Well, no, I guess there was one in Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. So he's unbiased, but who he wants to kill. But the movie has, it moves away from form. I've seen reviews where people complain about it being exactly like the first one, which those people are obviously didn't watch the movie. It's hard to say that about other reviewers, but it was just something I read online, and some people were like, "Oh yeah, it's exactly like the first one," and there's literally no correlation between this one and now this one and Nightmare on Elm Street the first, and it's crazy to think that some people could put that, but and the crazy thing is I saw that this movie is rated lower by more critics than Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which is crazy to me because even just I feel like the boldness alone, the change of form, change of pace in this movie should be commended over number 4. Number 4 is when they rehash the first movie. Number 4 is a copy of the first movie, and the same events happen, and there's slightly different plot lines. 5 is the same way. 6 is the same way. That's what I said when they kind of sold out to the MTV crowd. That's what that was. Them doing the cookie cutter. 1, 2, and 3 were three original movies, right? They tried to be their own thing, and they had their artistic flair in each of them. And even 2 didn't work as well as 1 and 3. I will admit, but 2 had good points that I feel like a lot of people discredit it, and I feel like it came out and then nobody really looked back at it. But the acting in the movie is not that bad. The main character, he's got some Jesse. He's got some. His scream. When I first saw this movie, I started laughing when he screamed, and I was like, oh gosh. But beyond that, his scream is very feminine, and it's funny because of who he plays. He plays this like almost pretty boy kind of guy, and he gets this really dark demeanor about him. But when he screams, he sounds like a small girl, and it's funny. And it's cool that people sound like women or women sound like men. It's just it's really out of character for this because of the tone of the movie. I encourage you to watch it before you judge how I said that, but you need to. It takes you out of it because you don't expect it. Because the dude's he's very much like a really handsome dude, and he's like very serious, and he's in his dream. There's like these. This is the beginning of the movie. These other girls that are in the dream are like trying to get away from Freddy or whatever, and he's like trying to stay in front of him and like in a way like protect him, and then you see like that real world, and you see his parents, and then you hear him scream in the background, and just like, well, what the hell? So it's kind of funny, but beyond that, it has this interesting plot line where it's him slowly getting possessed or what have you, and then he tries to obviously go against the grain and try to take over it, and then it ends up like Freddy almost like in a way like beats him out, and then other characters try to bring it back. It has a depth of a plot line. It's just some of the execution isn't super solid, and I feel like maybe if it had the same script but a different director, it probably would have been a lot more on point. Which the director situation, after watching a couple Nightmare on Elm Street documentaries, as I've said, I've watched in some of the previous reviews, it seems like the directors ruined a lot of the sequels. So, and the ones that everyone praised, 1, 3, and A New Nightmare, all had Wes Craven's name on it. And, Nightmare on Elm Street comes with Wes Craven, but I'm talking about Wes Craven showed up on set at one point or another in 1, 3, and A New Nightmare, and those are the ones that are just excellent. So it's crazy. This is the first one, obviously, without Wes Craven, and it kind of suffers for that. But it's definitely worth the watch. It's something that I feel like needs to be looked at. It's not as grody and dumb almost as 4, 5, and 6 can be. It still has integrity, and this is right before Freddy starts cracking a whole bunch of jokes. He's got some to say in this one, but it's not. He's still kind of the horror character before horror comedy, right? 3 he kind of starts borderline again, and 4 he's just a freaking comedian. So it still has that flair of the first movie, and it's just some of the execution's a little weird, and some of the your products that were made up for the movie are a little odd. But yeah, the movie's worth a watch. It's Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and I would definitely, if you watched any of the other ones because of these reviews, this is definitely one you need to check out. But it has its flaws. But yes, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This has been the Chief Asch on another OctoberQuest review, and keep watching.